Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the Pools Pod Season 2, following defeats at Carlisle and at home to York. Joining me today, we have Danny from the Red. Hello, Danny, how are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Yourself?
Excellent, not too bad myself. And Mark as well, joining us from Northern Ireland. It's been a while, Mark, how are you?
Aye, keeping okay, ticking over, and same old, same old.
Same old, same old. And it does feel a little bit like deja vu when it comes to the results that we're talking about tonight. Unfortunately for Pools, it is now one win in our last 10 games, having won three and drawn one of our first four. And it does very much feel like last season, perhaps the season before, perhaps the season before, waiting to happen once again. And we will start, before we start with the two games that we've had, we'll start with Harvey Cartwright first. Unfortunately, having suffered that thigh injury, as discussed last week, he's gone back. I would imagine it's probably going to be a few months before he's even fit to try and start to try and play games. So as a result, the club have sent him back, and we've signed George Evans from Millwall, who made his debut against York on Saturday. Danny, given the chats that you've had so far, you've obviously spoken to Simon Grayson earlier on today. We're recording this on Thursday night. It's an upsetting piece of news, certainly for the fans, certainly for Harvey himself, because he looked devastated when he came off against Carlisle. Obviously, he's had that injury before as well, in the thigh area, so he'll have known at the time that something may have been up. And considering his form at the start of the season, it's a very big loss for the team.
It is. I think it will be a big loss for any team. I think DAZN put a post out the same day, or it might have even been the day after, highest rated player in the division. So losing any player who's the highest rated player in the division, you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle. But I do have to say, based off of purely on one game, looks like we've done very, very well replacing him.
Well, that's very good to hear. I mean, I was there anyway, but he looked fairly composed. He didn't really have a chance with either goal. Obviously, the first one being quite a major scramble, the second one, just a ball across the box, so he couldn't help but concede there. And if we can keep finding loan and signings like that, you'd think, Mark, that the rest of the season will be pretty good. I mean, we've got, for example, Basat Topolai, we've got Cameron John in on loan, we've got options on both of those. Cartwright proved an inspired find. George Evans, limited evidence so far, but he looks like a decent enough signing as well. So the loan market potentially could be something to exploit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like from what I've been watching and reading in equals and measures, Cartwright was quite simply just in some people's eyes just too good for us because he was he just exuded quality. And some was even saying he was on par with being one of the best goalkeepers that we've had in recent times. Like basically, almost like watching old Chewy Constantopoulos. Uh, but it says it's a shame about the injury, but he'll come back stronger. And who knows, we might not have seen the last of him. But if we can keep finding these lone gems, then yeah, the future is bright. Hopefully, young George from Millwall can obviously prove to be another inspired signing.
Yeah, he did also as well post on Instagram, final farewell, if you like, to the club. It'd be nice to see him back. But for now, he says, I've absolutely loved my time at this football club. Thank you to players, staff, and fans. The support I've received has been gratefully appreciated. Football can be hard sometimes, but that's life. And to be fair, it's a very classy statement. He's been very good for us so far this season. Danny, do you reckon he's probably been the best signing this season? I know there's competition from the likes of Cameron John. If you ask Rob Law, I'm sure he'll sing Cameron John's praises till the cows come home. But would you say he's probably been the signing of the season up to this point?
Comfortably. I think I saw something from Peter Schmeichel where he said that they were always asked to win you 6 or 8 points over the course of a season. And I think he probably did that within the first half a dozen games for us, I would probably say. So, I mean, by that standards, you'll always struggle to replace somebody like that who, I mean, as I said, the best player in the division. And I just think he's one of those where he probably walks into most teams in League Two and potentially some in League One.
Absolutely. I think I've said this to you as well about the fact that we've seen players up and down the pyramid who could play at a higher level quite comfortably, but injuries have really hampered them and they've been cast aside is a little bit of a harsh term, but when they're registered at higher level clubs, for example, Harvey with Hull, is it a case perhaps of injuries may limit the level that he could play at, even though his potential does stretch to probably the championship and even beyond?
Yeah, I think it's one of those. We were speaking about it, weren't we? That it wouldn't surprise me if Hull didn't keep him on whenever his contract expires, purely based off of that. I think all he needs is just a good run of games, just a season, a full season, injury free under his belt, because he's just brilliant.
He is absolutely, and as we say, hopefully George Evans can. I mean, he's almost hit the ground running. I know it was against York. I know he conceded twice, but at the end of the day, York are a very strong squad and they'll go far in the division. Alongside the likes of Carlisle, who we played on Wednesday, the 1st of October, so that'll be last Wednesday. And I mean, was it just me or Mark? I'll start with you this time. Did you think we were outplayed,
Mm.
personally? I think, but it was expected in a way. Carlisle are a better side than us. I don't think anyone's going to debate that really because they proved it for a start last Wednesday night. And secondly, you look at them on paper and they are just a stronger side than us. But did you feel potentially it was a bit of a missed opportunity simply in terms of we didn't really have a go as much as I think some would like us to have done?
No, I think that's the problem. It says, yeah, Carlisle, they come straight down. They've got, shall we say, better resources than Poles at the moment, comfortably. Yeah. But if we'd really not shown any, shall we say, potential nerves, they were there for the taking. When it was only that we just seemed to kind of freeze and think, oh, play one of the promotion favourites here. What do we do next? Looking at each other as if to say, okay, how do we take down Mark using this Carlisle team? Because we've had some decent results at Brunton Park over the last few years, and if we'd taken 3 points there, that would have been a major feather in our cap, and people would start to take us a lot more seriously. But as it is, Carlisle took the points. We ended up with a lonely big fat zero, and it's back to the drawing board. It's just a case of it's too many times that we're getting back to that drawing board. I mean, like we've drawn 6 times in the league already this season. Some of them really, if we could convert some of them draws into a win, then yeah, perhaps we could be allowed to dream. But as I said, yeah, definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, again, our draws are going to be our downfall, you'll probably say. We drew far too many last season, particularly at home, which seems to have carried over again to this season. And as has happened the last two seasons, this is the third season that it's happened. This time we didn't lose on Bank Holiday Monday. But again, Danny, it seems that since Bank Holiday Monday, I would argue probably the Bournemouth game on the 30th when we went down to 10 men. We still got a draw out of it, which is a half decent result. But since then, our form has just taken a massive nosedive.
Yeah, and I really struggle to wrap my head around it, really, because it's always been, as you mentioned there, the Bank Holiday Monday game, especially the last 2 years with the injury to Mancini while we were winning, and then last year when we were winning and went down to 10. I thought this year we'd got over the hump. We got a good result against, on the day, a better side than us in Southend. I think they probably deserved all 3 points that day. And then since then, we just can't really buy a win, to be fair, is the best way to put it. I mean, I remember speaking with Charman and Grayson after the Boston game, and I brought up the fact of drawing too many games already, and it was sort of briefly dismissed. But I feel like it could be last season all over again, where we don't show enough to make the jump into the playoffs. We don't look in any real danger, but we look back on it at the end of the year and think, if we'd have got the extra 2 points there, and there, would have been in the mix.
Yeah, I
Too
think
many if and onlys.
it is too many. I mean, it's still early enough to turn this around. We're only in
Oh,
October.
yeah.
There's still plenty of football to go. But the longer that this goes on for, it's only going to get worse. It's going to get worse and worse. This Saturday, I know it's a cup game, obviously won't affect the league. But if we get beat on Saturday, firstly, it's probably the biggest result in Gainsborough's history, if not sort of up there. I think I saw a quote. I can't remember who it was from. I think it was Radio Lincolnshire or something like that. But it was the chairman, I believe, of Gainsborough saying that a result like this, if we beat Hartlepool on Saturday, it'll set us up financially for another 10 to 15 years. That's the gap between the two teams
Mm.
as it stands. So if we lose that game, I think we're all going to have memories of last year,
Oh,
perhaps,
And the year before,
and the year before. Was it Chester the year before?
it was. And then the FA Trophy as well, Hampton and Richmond last year.
Oh, good lord. Oh, yeah, let's not do that. To be fair, I think Hampton and Richmond was the year before. Was it not Tamworth last year?
Yes, it
It was
was.
when we missed all three
May have
penalties,
been
and
the
it
year
was
before.
we suddenly completely forgot how to take a penalty.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's the one. But Hampton and Richmond was equally as bad. To be fair, the FA Trophy we do seem to have a habit of losing to very unfancied teams since we've came down, and we lost to Workington, didn't we? Quite a while ago now, but I think one of our first campaigns in the National League, we had Workington away in December. I think we lost 1-0. I think it was in the era of like Ryan Donaldson and that sort of era. I'm sure we have, but
Yeah,
like I
it wouldn't
say, it's
surprise me. Wouldn't
yeah,
surprise me.
it's a bit of a bogey trophy that for us. Well, to be fair, we always used to be able to rely on our FA Cup run, like not run as it were, but we'd always get through the qualifying round. We've never not got through the qualifying round until we played Chester 2 years ago, and now we can't get through to the first round proper, seemingly. So I think we'd have all preferred this to be at home. I think we
Yeah,
can all agree on that.
yep.
However, realistically, we should be going there and winning. Now, you spoke to Simon Grayson earlier on, Danny. As I say, we are recording on Thursday, so the pre-match press conferences, I should say, went on earlier on today. And well, I mean, Simon Grayson, fair to say, he's trotting out the usual cliches. I think, Danny.
yeah, but I think it's also, especially talking about the game on Saturday, I think it's spot on that as much as it wouldn't really be as convincing for fans, but I think it's just a case of win.
Yeah.
Just win. Just get that winning feeling back, get into the first round proper. And of course, we would want to go there, I'm sure the players and the staff do, and turn them over about 5 or 6-0 and come away from it happy as Larry. But I think for us, we missed a chance after the Gateshead game to go on a little bit of a run. This would be the perfect start. Get a bit of confidence, get back playing, because I agree in some of the games we've not looked great, but also on the flip side, we've played, especially that game against York. I know we'll get onto it in a little bit. I feel like that's probably one of our better performances for large parts. We played some brilliant stuff in that game. So I think it's just a case of put it all together on Saturday, see if we can then carry that into the league.
Yeah, Mark, sounds about right.
Aye, definitely 100%. Winning does breed confidence, and if we can avoid the banana skin that is Gainsborough, then yeah, use it as a springboard, and you never know, it might just propel the lads up the table and into that top seven, which would be absolutely ideal. I mean, I personally hope that we do actually tonk them 6-0 or something, because I think that was the score when the last time that the two teams met. and at Gainsborough, I'm sure it was at Gainsborough as well. I've already been obviously having a few bits of good-natured banter with a lad from those parts who now lives in Rotherham, and he's confident that they're going to upset us. I says, "We'll see, Smithy. We'll see." But you've just you can't underestimate them. You've just got to go out there, put in a professional performance, and the result will take care of itself. We've got the fire. We have got the firepower. It's just obviously we've got to start making those chances count. And if we make those chances count, we're a match for anyone on any given day.
Absolutely. As we've spoken before, when I went to Aldershot and when I went to Gateshead, the amount of chances that we created across those two games, we could have won 10 games with those chances. Gateshead, eventually, we took one. It was probably one that should have been saved, ironically. Aldershot, we had so many different chances, so many different types of chances, and we just didn't take
Yeah.
any of them. So, as you say, if we don't take these chances, then there's only going to be one result. We're not going to win the game. And as I said on a previous episode, and this sort of rings a little bit differently now that Harvey Cartwright has been returned to Hull, defences will stop you from losing games. Because if you keep a clean sheet every game, you're not going to lose. But if you don't put the goals in at the other end, you're not going to win games. And as you said already, I think you said it, Mark. Do you know who's drawn the most in the league?
Hartlepool United.
Correct, of course we have. Six. 6 draws out of 14. No one else has drawn six. Next
That's
most.
why everyone puts the next on the fixed odds every Saturday and think, oh yeah, Poles are playing X.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we just need to convert. It's particularly the fixtures at home. There are too many draws. It's all well and good not winning. Sorry, it's all very good going unbeaten at home, but if there are too many draws in there, pointless. You need to take advantage of the home games, even those
What's he
such as
do?
York, because the problem that we've got is a game against York at home is a very difficult game, and that is probably one that you would take a draw out of. But if you're going to draw against teams like Tamworth, for example, last Saturday, that then makes the difficult games ones that you really do need to win to keep up with the pack, unfortunately.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to be honest with you, if we do just meander through draw after draw after draw, there's only one place it's going to be mid-table boredom, and you were thinking, are we ever going to get out of this godforsaken division? Not until we start converting the 1 point into 3 points, and at the moment, doesn't seem any different.
Absolutely. And a bit of a deeper dive into the game against York now. We've mentioned it briefly on a couple of occasions so far, but 1-0 down at half time, an 86th minute goal virtually killed off the game until Verdane Oliver then scored 2 minutes later. And a lot of people who were leaving the ground at that point suddenly craned their necks back and wondered what had happened because I don't think they were expecting anything from that point. I know I certainly wasn't. But at the end of the day, Danny, York didn't play that well, I didn't think. I thought, as you've said, we were okay. We didn't do particularly badly, but it just didn't feel like, and I think this is partly because of the tactics that we used. We just didn't feel like we had any threat right up front of the pitch. And I think a lot of that is down to the fact that Luke Charmer was played as a false nine for some reason.
Yeah, but I also think that we created more than enough. I mean, there was a couple of chances with Luke Charman and with Jermaine Francis where we were in the middle of the box, practically one-on-one with the keeper, and they never got put away. And the thing I always revert back to is I think it was actually Challoner that said it, where if we weren't creating the chances, then I'd be concerned. But I mean, you look at the players that we've got. Alex Reid, returning from injury, scored 21 last year. So you look at Jermaine Francis, more than capable in front of goal. Luke Charman's got a strike on him every now and then. And even people like Matty Daly, you'd be expecting to chip in with a few goals. So we've got the players to put it away. We're creating the chances. And it sort of just does with me anyway, leaves me sort of scratching my head as to why they're not dropping. Because, I mean, we created more than enough, to win that game comfortably. It just never really materialised. But the main thing is Vidane Oliver, 2 home games, 2 goals with limited minutes. So that's only a positive.
Yeah, when I spoke to Simon Grayson after Carlisle, he mentioned about Vidane Oliver and also the winger from Bournemouth, Michael da Costa
Yeah.
Gonzalez, I believe. He said for Vidane Oliver, it will probably be 7 to 10 days before he could start due to his lack of match fitness up to that point. That should take us to this Saturday coming. And before we get back onto York, a couple of other things. Vidane Oliver, firstly, starting on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, he has to,
Has to.
doesn't he,
Has to.
realistically?
I still.
I think given that he scored twice, it's not even a confidence thing anymore because he's scored twice. He's probably our informed striker at the moment. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So if he bags a hat trick in 45 minutes on Saturday, his confidence will be right up here. And
Well,
taking that into a league game against Sutton next week,
Who are struggling as well, by the way. They're
exactly,
not exactly
yes.
high flying.
Exactly, but unfortunately, we all know what pools are like when they come up against teams that are struggling at the bottom of the league. Hopefully, that doesn't happen this time. But like I say, if he
Mm.
takes that confidence, if he manages, even if he just gets a goal, just get a goal, decent performance, and then come off after, say, 65 minutes, 70 minutes, resting for the league game, that's ideally what we want. Just furthermore, on that game, would you be putting the strongest side out that you possibly can?
yes, definitely, 100%.
Just
I
making sure
mean,
that we get the win and then maybe spring a couple of
yeah,
players off
yeah.
if need be, yeah?
Make sure that the game is beyond Gainsborough. Yeah. Then, yeah, give others a run out. But strikers, just like basically, if they score, yeah, their confidence goes up. If they don't score, that's when they start like self doubting themselves. And I think that's what they would say. It seems like might be going through Danny Johnson's head at the moment because obviously he was when he came in touted to be the one who's going to fire us to glory, but it just hasn't worked out for him. So, and he must be thinking to himself, when's my first goal going to come? And to see Oliver score 2 in 2, makes me think, is he going to take my place?
I'll tell you what, though, he's had the chances.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He's had the chances, but the thing is, though, he's lacking that confidence in front of goal. All he could quite easily on Saturday come off the pitch like having scored an hat-trick, and he'd be on cloud 9.
Yeah,
A
quite
fickle
possibly.
old game.
Well, I mean, Rob Law said, a couple of weeks ago, he said, as you do this podcast later on the season, we're talking about the rich vein of form that Danny Johnson has been in, banging in goals left, right, and centre. Is that something that you can see at the minute, Danny? Because I really want it to work. I'll never not want a Pulse player to do well, but I'm really, really struggling to see it.
Yeah, to say it's been a rough start to the season for him, I think is a bit of an understatement. But I also think that when he gets one, he'll get a bag full
Quite possibly.
Possible.
because as long as he keeps getting in those spots, a bit of confidence behind him. Again, as Mark touched upon and you touched upon there, he's getting the chances. All he needs to do is put them away. I mean, some of the chances, that one against Carlisle is the one that screams to me in recent memory, where the ball came across the box and he sort of swiped at it and didn't really connect with it. They're the sort of chances where you think an informed striker puts that away.
The worst one for me is the one at Forest Green.
Yeah.
He has to score that.
The thing is that I feel like we can say the same thing about Alex Reid at the minute because you look at that chance against Gateshead
Yeah.
where you think that just quite frankly has to go in the back of the net. So, I mean, I think it would be nice to see Alex Reid get a daft 15, 20 minutes at the weekend. Whether or not it's too soon, we don't know yet. But it would be nice to see a couple of people get a goal that clearly need one.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, as he's mentioned as well, Matty Daly, the likes of Matty Daly, Jamie Miley potentially moving forward a bit more. We need that extra body from midfield bursting into the box because too many times we've seen, the wingers going down the left and going down the right, putting balls in or cutting the ball back, etc. And, there's a striker in there, but he's outnumbered by three other defenders, and there's no one else making the run into the box because either they're too tired because they've broken forward quickly, or they just haven't gotten into the box. And
Brad Walker used to do it. He's got goals in him.
wow.
But there is plenty of players in that squad who can score goals. They just need to believe in themselves more.
Yeah,
If they don't believe in themselves, they're in the wrong job.
to be fair, Walker didn't. I'm sure Walker used to score a few from range.
Oh, yeah,
He used to have a hell of a strike on him.
yeah. I've seen him arrowing a few like top bins many a time, but it's just a case of as I said, just believe in yourself more as a player. Because if you believe in yourself, then you'll go into every game confidence high. Look, I'm gonna have a good game here, and then your confidence rubs on your teammates. It transmits into the stands, and everyone's happy. But at the moment, I think they just don't kind of 100% believe what they're capable of. They just need that little bit of a nudge in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before we go back to York, just a word on Jermaine Francis. You mentioned him earlier, Danny. He's played for, I want to say Granada. He plays for
Yeah,
Granada, doesn't he? Yep. And they played Cuba, I think, yesterday. 1-4-1, got an assist. Cracking day's work for him. So,
yeah.
congratulations to him. Say it's
Please don't get injured.
Oh, don't get injured.
Please don't get injured.
Please don't get injured.
That's all I'm thinking about before he comes back. Is just please come back fit.
To be fair, if there's one game that he's going to miss as well, you would choose a game against Gainsborough, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
As
because
opposed to any other game.
I feel like it's a game where I would have given him a rest anyway if that was me in the dugout, because the amount of running he does, you can see that it takes a toll, because the amount of pressing and just chasing down loose balls he does it's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
massive.
We
For
shouldn't
every
need him
single
to win
club.
that game. We shouldn't need him to win that game.
No, we shouldn't. And that should be a game where theoretically we could go out with a side of more rotational players. Your Jack Hunters, your Adam Campbells, people like Danny Johnson up front, and still be
Speaking
able
of
to come
Adam,
over.
speaking of Adam Campbell, has anyone seen him?
He's been sat on the bench for a few games, I think.
Has he?
Might have got splinters in his backside.
Hey, well, I mean, like I say, he just seems to have dropped off the face of the earth. There was those rumours, weren't there, about him going potentially back to Gateshead and things like that, but it never really materialised, partly due to their situation. And he just seems very much out of favour, and it just hasn't worked for him, unfortunately. But the other thing with Jermaine Francis as well is after the game on Saturday, I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter or
Yeah,
X, whatever you say it, however you pronounce it, but his statement that he put on basically apologising to the fans, saying that they deserve better, etc. And I think of all the people in that squad to put that out, I think Francis is very close to the bottom of that list, personally,
Hmm.
because he's been very energetic. He's been a breath of fresh air, if you like, in terms of the fact he'll actually run at players and try and make things happen. So I think of all the people in that squad to feel like they need to put that out, I just think it's good that he's done it. Don't get me wrong, and I admire him for taking responsibility, but he's been very good this season. I think he's been very harsh on himself, feeling like he's the one that needs to put that out, Danny.
yeah, but I also feel like that's a testament to him and his character, that he's
Absolutely.
not one of the more experienced members in the squad. Of course, he's played more than enough football, but to take on that role, I mean, that's sort of what you would have expected from one of the more experienced members in the squad. However, like you say, he's been brilliant all season. He's been a large part of everything we do. But again, I don't think anybody really that started has played particularly poorly. Like, if you look at the starting 11, apart from you look at the top end of the pitch, and even then, Luke Charman's looked really good. He's looked really, really good this season,
I think he
especially off
looks a
the wing.
different player this season.
Yeah. And then Jermaine Francis has looked really good. I thought Michael Da Costa Gonzalez looked bright, considering it's his first start in men's football. I don't know. I just think we've been very, very unlucky with some of these results. And again, it all comes down to not putting the ball in the net. But yeah, he's one of the last people who should be apologising with all the effort he puts in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent statement. The other thing I would say as well, that, at the top end of football where players have their own social media teams and all of that stuff, that was him that's put that out. Like, you can always tell, can't you? Because it's quite manufactured and very polished if a top player puts something out and you just know.
It
There's that
feels very
famous,
copy and paste.
yeah, there's that very famous one with Victor Anichebe. If you remember when he did it and it was copied and pasted over and it said, "Can you put something like?" And said it went down in infamy. But like I say, it just feels like a genuine message to the supporters. There's a couple of things in there specifically. Firstly, we've mentioned about the cutting edge at the top of the pitch. He does reference that specifically. He says hard work can help you, but the final cutting edge is what matters, and I haven't been able to produce that. There is also the bit next to where it says, "I will back my teammates and I will back you all to help us get over the line come April. It's not about how you start; it's about how you finish."
Spot on.
Which
It's
is very true.
absolutely spot on.
Absolutely.
I mean, how many times do we see in this league a team just appear out of nowhere after Christmas? It feels like every year there is one or two teams that will just go on some mammoth run in the second half of the season. Sometimes sneak in, but they'll always be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, I mean it happens in every league. You see them,
Yeah.
up and down the leagues. For example, if anyone was watching League One last season, Leyton Orient came out of nothing to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, yeah.
And like I say,
But
it does
but
happen.
dare I say it, a few years ago, Borough did it in the Championship, bottom of the table, went on shall we say, an incredible run, and they ended up in the playoffs.
Sheffield United did it as well under
Yeah,
Steve Cooper before they went up. Like I said, there are numerous examples of it. I think the best one for the National League recently, I know they didn't get anywhere near the playoffs, but you look at the run that Boston went on at the end of last season.
well, yeah.
Like, any team is capable of putting together a run, whether it be to
If
get you out of danger or to get into the playoffs or even to compete for the title. It is there. It just needs to click. And as we've said already quite a few times, if that cutting edge improves and someone can put it in the back of the net, it doesn't have to be one person getting 20 goals between now and Christmas. Like, if we spread the goals around a bit, if we just start putting the chances away gradually.
10 each across the forward line.
Yeah,
You'll be
absolutely.
fine. And then
Yeah.
chip in elsewhere. But again, it's the whole thing of, again, we're creating the chances. And I feel like eventually, theoretically, they have to drop. The law of averages says that they will eventually start going in. I just needs to happen sooner because that gap is only getting bigger.
it is indeed. And the thing is as well, if you take your chances, you just know there's going to be some unfortunate team who's going to come across us on one day, and they're
Oh,
going to get an absolute pasting.
But it could have been Gateshead, I think, when the
Could have
stats
been, should have
when the
been,
stats came
could have,
out. I think we had
would have, could have, should have.
something like 26 or 27 shots. And
Yeah,
it's
we
just
should have
like
we should have had at least 4 or 5. At
that's my
least.
point. Where if you have 27 shots in a game, 14 or 15 of them on target, you should never be walking away with just one goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And
the archetypal 1-0 hammering.
Yeah, and the funny thing is as well, the one goal that went in is the one goal that should never have went in a million years.
The most savable one out of the lot.
Yeah. Not that I'm complaining to the keeper, by the way. Thanks. Cheers, lad. Because clearly we needed a hand
Yeah.
that Tuesday night. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to do it again where we go over the next few games as well, even though every time we do this, we do seem to lose a lot of points off them. But if you ignore Gainsborough, because that's the cup game, after that, Sutton away, who we've already said are struggling. Solihull at home, who are struggling. I think they've just replaced their manager as well.
Yeah.
So have Sutton, actually.
Bit of a new manager bounce against us. Lovely.
Great, yeah. Just on the telly as well, which we can't
Yeah.
ever play well on, which is just the
Superb.
law.
I'm just glad that they don't have that 3G pitch anymore,
Yes.
because I never want to see us play on a 3G pitch. Does anybody know if Gainsborough have one? Because that might change my complexion of the game at
I
the weekend.
don't know. I don't think they do. There's something in the back of my head telling me they don't have a 3G. But I don't know for sure. Maybe something for one of us to look at. But after that, it's the FA Cup first round weekend. So depending on if we get through and hopefully when we get through, that'll be who we play. After that, we then play Morecambe in midweek, who are currently conceding 20 goals a game by the looks of it. So if there's ever a game for our strikers to get a bit of confidence, it's that one. Please.
It's
If
3G.
I like
Mate.
that magic word, Jack. If
Hang on. They play on a 3G?
I've just done a little bit of digging. Yeah, it's a 3G pitch,
Oh,
state of the art.
No. Great. I think that funeral silence that we've all just had tells us a lot, doesn't it, about our record?
Yeah.
Do you know what I was
I
going to say as
hate
well?
plastic pitches.
Do you know what I was going to say as well? Has anyone in our league now got a 3G pitch? Because I can't think of any. Like the ones that used to have 3G pitches, obviously Sutton went up and had to replace it. And I think a couple have went down, haven't they? I can't actually think of one.
I think everybody who had a 3G pitch, as you say, either went up
Or got relegated.
or went down. Yeah.
But Boreham would have one.
I think they did.
I
Surely
think,
they
I
did.
think they
Oh.
definitely did, and obviously they haven't been promoted, so they didn't have to
I
rip it
don't
up.
think they do. Last time I went there, anyway, I don't remember it being 3G.
Hmm.
I think it was always Bromley was the one that we
Yeah,
always used to
Bromley
beat
definitely
by.
did, but obviously they went up, so they had to
Yeah.
get grass. Yeah, I mean to be fair, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that's going to be an unwelcome sight come Saturday for the people who are travelling down. I mean, I'm working again, so I won't be there. I'll be doing the papers again, but yeah, to be fair, you said that might change your complexion on things. Have you suddenly decided that the upset's on? You're going to put your mortgage on Gainsborough now?
Well, it'll probably be a little bit closer.
Yeah, can we do the reverse of last season where we drag them back to our place for a replay and turn them out? Because
To be fair, even drawing away at Gainsborough is not pretty in the slightest.
it's not pretty, but if we draw with them away on a 3G pitch, which we never play well on anyway, and then we come back and beat them 4-0 at home, I'd take that. I'd take that right now. Because not only that, it means I get to see more football. Because if it's in midweek, there's more chance of me being able to get there.
Yeah.
And oh, there was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, this is the last stage of the FA Cup, I'm sure, where there's replays.
Yes.
I think come the first round proper, it's
It's
all
got to be
settled on the
set.
day.
Yeah, I'm sure that's right.
Yeah, so like I said, to be fair, when I said the replay, I thought, hang on, that changed the other last season, didn't it? And then thought, no, it's definitely still replays at this point. But after Morecambe, just to reel off the next couple, we've got Halifax away, Wealdstone at home, Eastleigh away, and Truro at home. That's November. That's a decent run, isn't it? And unfortunately
Technically.
for Hartlepool United, we make decent runs look like the worst thing in the world.
Yes, quite.
Remember last season when we had a wonderful run around about the end of January, February time, and we were all counting the points we were going to get?
I
I'm
would
just thinking,
thought, where we're going to finish? Are we going to finish top 7, fifth, sixth,
Yeah,
maybe even fourth, and then aye.
yeah, I'm getting horrible flashbacks from that.
I'm getting flashbacks to that 3 home game stretch that we had Saturday.
Yeah, in
Tuesday,
February,
Saturday,
around my birthday
Yeah.
time. What a horrible episode that was to record, by the way.
when we should have won all 3 and missed open goals in all 3 to get. I think was it 3 draws or 2 draws and a loss or something daft like that?
It was 2 draws and a loss. We drew against Tamworth, then we drew against Maidenhead, and then we lost to Altrincham. And the reason why I know it was Altrincham for a fact, because that was the day before my birthday. We recorded this episode on my birthday on the Wednesday, and that was Altrincham scored twice in like the last 10 minutes or something, with the simplest goals you will ever see scored in a game in your life. It was literally a long ball over the top and he scored. It was literally that simple. You know what? Was that Linny as well?
Time.
It will have been.
I think it was.
It will have been.
Torturer. Honestly, I'll chip in for a League Two club or something to buy him next season if we don't go up. Just
Yeah.
like Carlisle can't have them
Jack,
anymore.
Just go around all the
Paul's
teams
do it
in the
all the
league.
time, mate.
Honestly.
They're absolute legends in actually just lulling you into that false sense of security, and you're thinking everything's all rosy and that, and then next thing it goes into the pits of despair, and you think yourself,
That was the right noise. That was just the correct noise.
I
Ian.
thought it was good.
But yeah, so the rest of October, we've got the cup game on Saturday. We have Sutton and then we have Solihull. And as you said, Danny, hopefully the new manager bounce doesn't come in because, I mean, they didn't start the season particularly well. I think a lot of people at the start of the season, particularly with Solihull, didn't think that Matty Taylor would be there long term.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really had anything good to say about him at the time. I don't think their squad's particularly bad. I just think a lot of people thought the manager didn't get them anywhere.
I feel like they're a side who've been getting weaker and weaker as well. I think you think back to even sort of before we went up the first time, like when we under Chalner, they were always there or thereabouts, weren't they? They were always sort of hanging around the playoff spots, if not creeping in.
They were a very physical side, and they were very, very like difficult to play against, and they banked on that to their advantage. I just remember in the fair spell that we had in the National League, they always beat us at our place, and we always beat them at their place.
Yeah.
It was a very strange like ritual every season, where we usually beat them 1-0 at their place, and they usually beat us 1-0 at ours. It was very strange.
It was
I remember
always
Liam.
Jamie Osborne as well, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's a very
He
good
was
player.
always the one that would sort of do us in.
He was messy against us. But
Yeah.
Liam Noble scored a winner against them once at Solihull. It was a good goal as well, like
Brings a
curled
roundabout,
into the
doesn't it?
far corner. It was one of those grounds where I just like going to because I just knew we'd win. Like, I didn't like watching us at home against them because I knew we'd lose. But every time I went
Yeah.
to Solihull, I just thought, we'll win this.
Even that Aiden Keener game.
Oh, that was one of the best moments of the last 10 years. That it was just there's just everything about that goal was bizarre in sort of how it made us feel. Because firstly, it's just a last minute winner.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign anyway.
Oh yeah, everyone loves a good last minute winner.
Absolutely. I think it was like the 89th minute or something. Secondly, that was the last game I went to before lockdown away from home because it was just before lockdown. It was about 2 weeks before. The last game we had was, funnily
Ebbsfleet.
enough, against Sutton.
Was it? Was it
It
not
was. We
Ebbsfleet at
were
home?
no, we were away at Sutton in mid-March, and that was when I think Premier League games started going down.
Yeah.
But they still carried on with the National League and the lower league games, and that was the last game that we played because the next weekend it all kicked off. Everything got called off, and then on the Monday we were all locked in. But our last home game was the one against Ebbsfleet when Jermaine McGlashan did some naughty stuff.
Oh yes,
Yep, that
that
one.
that
Do-
that
Dover Mark too.
wonderful person. Yeah.
Do you know what? It says a lot when you're accusing the fans of that stuff, and the physio stood right next to him and going, "I haven't heard what you've heard. I don't know what you're talking about." Hey, the contrast between that game and Dover was like in retrospect bizarre because
Night and day.
Dover, we all knew what had happened. It had clearly happened. We were all annoyed at what happened, etc. The Ebbsfleet one, the fans were fuming because nothing had happened. It was a strange one coming away from that one.
I feel like it didn't help because it was Ebbsfleet as well, a team notorious for when we're at home to them, it being a scrappy, horrible game, and there always being a little bit of
Needle.
needle between the Ebbsfleet players and the fans as well.
Yeah. To be fair, they're in the league below now. We don't need to worry about them anymore.
Yeah.
After last season, all well and good. And to be fair,
Karma.
Dover have gone very downhill.
Karma.
I think did Dover have a 3G?
Probably.
I think they did the Crabble, wasn't it? Yeah. But I mean, I remember we got beat 4-0 by Dover once away. Didn't go, but I just remember it's obviously because it's so far away. I just remember one of those posts saying like, how far we've travelled, and we just got walloped in the old
Closer to
days.
France than us is Dover. That was the one thing I always remember about playing them.
Well, to be fair, we'll have to make something up for Truro later on in the season.
Yeah.
Closer to something, closer to Morocco. Might well be actually. I mean, I don't know. It is quite a way down, but yes, we'll have to see what happens on Saturday. I mean, do we think that we're going to go through
Yeah, positive thinking, guys. Positive
3G?
thinking.
The 3G hasn't changed Mark's perspective on it. It's nice sunny
No,
disposition.
it might be like scrabbly 1-0 win, but I'll take it.
I think Danny would
Don't give
pay the
me that
mortgage for a
first round
scrappy
cropper.
1-0 win at this point, now that he's found out it's 3G.
I still remain really, really positive. I think we'll come out of the game knowing our luck. This will be the game where everything drops.
Yeah,
Not the ones
that
where
I've
we want 3
recorded this
points.
right, so I can play you back like the last 15 minutes of you nearly crying at the fact that they're on 3G. Yeah,
No,
but
I think in hindsight, when you think about it, and I know we say this every year when we play against a lower league team, to a man, we shouldn't have any issue.
well, yeah, but that's the magic of the FA Cup, isn't it?
It is.
Because
And I mean,
if we were playing, for example, Charlton, just as a random team I've just thought of, if we were playing Charlton, we'd be
you'd be saying the
saying the
same thing
magic
the
of
other
the
way.
FA Cup. They shouldn't have an
Yeah,
issue, but it's the magic of the cup. And with it being at Gainsborough, you know, it's that sort of game where when you see the TV companies looking for games before the Premier League come in and they just show all Premier League games, like it's the sort of game where you think a lower league side against a higher league side at the lower league side stadium. It's the sort of game, Gainsborough v Hartlepool, that'll be a Friday night game on the BBC.
yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
like that sort of game. A
On
bit
the
like when we
face of
played
it,
Blythe.
it reminds me of Ilkeston.
Oof. Yeah, was that the one where we won 6-0?
Yeah, on the face of it, it is that same sort of thing. And I think that ended up being on the red button or something, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was on BBC Red, yeah.
So
Please,
again,
please, can we do that again?
oh, that would be absolutely beautiful. I think um, did David Parkhouse score in that game, or am I making that
I
up?
think he might have done, yeah.
He,
I
he's,
think
he's now is now playing in like
He's
shall
now
we
part
say
time, isn't he?
he's gone part time here in Northern Ireland and he's actually captain of a team. I can't trying to remember. I think it's someone like Port Stewart he's playing for, and he's their club captain.
well, I mean, he wasn't here that long, was he?
No,
Was he one of those sort of like mini loans that we used to have?
Yeah, wonder you thought, yeah, we've got a striker on loan just to fill a stopgap. He'll be all right. He's coming from an higher division team, and it turned out to be worse than some of the youth prospects.
it just makes you think based off of the start of that season as well. By the way, how did we end up getting promoted with a team at the start of the season that had David Parkhouse and Mason Bloomfield up front?
You know what? I've just had a look just to see what it was, what the team was like, etc. Do you know who scored that day?
Go
Go on.
on.
Right, there are 6 different goal scorers.
I know one was Joe Gray.
Yes, he scored the second one. Who scored the first one? Great player.
I think Crawford scored in that game, didn't he?
Crawford did score. He scored. That was his first start for Pools as well. Crawford.
Wow.
He scored the third one. The opener now plays for Doncaster.
Jamie Sterry or
Nope, the other one.
Molyneux.
Molyneux. Yep, he
It was
scored the first one.
50-50, wasn't it? It was a 50-50.
It was a
Ah.
50-50, yeah. But yes, so it was Molyneux the first one, Gray the second one, Crawford the third one, and then you've just mentioned who scored the fourth one.
Jamie Sterry.
Nope,
Parkhouse.
nope. The other striker.
Bloomfield.
Yep, Bloomfield scored the fourth one. Parkhouse scored the fifth one.
Yeah.
And the sixth one was the midfielder.
The midfielder.
Yeah, we've got an Irish midfielder.
Oh,
Gavin Gavilar.
Gavilar. That's him. To be fair, I'm reading this off the BBC website as well, and it says Gavin Holohan scores fantastic sixth. I can't remember what it looked like, but I'm not going to argue with BBC. But yeah, the lineup for that game. Do you remember Henrik Ravas
I do.
playing in goal?
Aye.
Yeah, he played in goal. I'm assuming Killip was rotated out. Parkhouse didn't start, by the way, and I don't have the subs here, so I don't know who the subs are. But we had Henrik Ravas, Lewis Cass,
Great
He's
player.
on loan from Port Vale. I think at the time David Ferguson was playing, so that'll have been one of his, I think, his opening 2 months or so in our
Yeah.
spell. Ryan Johnson at the back, another
Yeah.
Mm.
decent
Another really
player,
good
solid
player.
centre back.
Well, I.
Yep, Gary Liddell
Legend.
speaks for himself, but
Yeah.
again, he was part of that back three that sort of linked up very well with each other. Crawford in midfield, Nicky Featherstone, sort of more at his height rather than, you know, just in and out of the side now, I think it's fair to say. Gavin Holohan in midfield, then you have Luke Molyneux and Joe Gray and Mason Bloomfield started that game. Parkhouse came on as a sub. Well, yeah, I mean we've come a long way from that.
They're not great striking options, them are the Mason
No.
Bloomfield and David Parkhouse.
I mean, the thing is, though, obviously we went up that season, but I think Resource was rotated out of the side, and we didn't sign Luke Armstrong on loan until December.
I remember Resorts wasn't great until we brought Luke Armstrong in. You
No,
never
they
really.
basically dovetailed together
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah.
Thing I've always said about Resorts as well, in his first spell with us, he was very hit and miss, I think it's fair to say. He has his moments,
Yeah.
but on the whole, he was a bit unremarkable. But the last time he played for us in that first spell was away at Tranmere. At the end of the season, it was the one where we all dressed as clowns. He came off the bench. I think we were 1-0 down at the time, and that was when Tranmere were like going for promotion. They'd like got 95 points or something ridiculous. They couldn't win the league, but they were going into the playoffs with like massive momentum. He came on and he absolutely tortured them. He absolutely terrorized them for probably about half an hour when he came on. He scored with a lovely little flick, like the ball was behind him and he just flicked it into the back of the net. But he was absolutely everywhere that day. And if he played that way throughout his entire first spell, I don't think we wouldn't have let him go. And then he came back and he showed it again once Luke Armstrong came in. And I think just a little final word on the current squad that we've got. We've always had a front two,
Mm.
like a front two that play with each other week in, week out. You might have a rotation option in there every now and then,
Yeah.
but all of our successful squads have had front twos. So
Even
you
when we
look
were doing
at
well this season.
what, sorry?
Even when we were doing well this season.
Well, yeah, we always played with Reed and Johnson, even though Johnson wasn't scoring it. It allowed Reed
Yeah.
to go forward and convert chances. I mean, if you look at the squads that we've had, you've got Armstrong and Oates that season, 2020, 2021. The sort of Neil Cooper, Danny Wilson era, you had Adam Boyd, Joel Porter, and Effiong Williams sort of rotating around each other.
Yeah.
Usually Boydie
Yep.
and Porter, but Effiong Williams came in and did his job when Porter was injured. You had in the 1990s, early 90s, you had Joe Allen and Paul Baker.
Yeah.
And Andy Saville rotating in again. Like you have the front two with a
With a
great
third
option
option.
in behind them, and they rotate in and out and score goals. They score loads of goals together. I don't think we've ever had a successful side playing one up front.
Doesn't suit us.
No, doesn't suit us as a club. It never has. I don't know why that is, but
It's such a weird statement to make, isn't it? But it's true.
it is. It's
Like on
true.
the face of it, it's such a strange statement to say a formation doesn't suit a club.
Yeah, but we've
But
never
it
played
does.
well with one up front.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of our squads, even the ones that haven't been as successful, they've been tailored to two up front.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like I say, we were going nowhere under Challoner until we went to two up front. And then all of a sudden we looked unbeatable. Just bizarre. Do you remember Richie Bennett as well?
Aye,
That season. Scored a hat-trick at Wealdstone, didn't do much else.
exactly.
I,
Now
I, I
playing at
don't know
Scarborough.
why, but I always remember his goal against Notts County. You know, off the free kick where he just sort of swipes at a half volley and just leathers it bottom corner.
Do you know what? I said he didn't do now else. That was a very harsh statement because he was a good player. I'd have happily had him. I think the problem we had at the time was that we
He was at Stockport and they seen he was doing well and then called him back, didn't they?
yeah,
Always
they were
forgot
never
him.
we were never gonna keep him because he was always because obviously with Stockport being the same league as well, we all thought it was a bit weird anyway.
It was a weird loan, but it worked.
It's like
It
again,
did.
if you're looking at say the championship race this season, you've got the likes of Leicester and Southampton and that competing up there. You'd think like one of them loaning one of their best players to another of those clubs. You just think, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then obviously we played them in the playoff final anyway. It'd have been just like football for him to come off the bench and score the winner or
Oh,
something.
that would have summed us up as a club,
Yeah.
realistically.
Do you know what? If we get into the playoffs this season, if you think about it, we've got in the playoffs in the National League once, and we went up. We have 100% record in the National League playoffs.
Hopefully, that's a stat we're pulling out in April.
Absolutely, and hopefully we get the luck of the draw as well, because I can't see us getting into second and third. So, we might have to do it again from fourth, because it happens
Well,
very often.
Thing is, look at Oldham.
Very true.
They finished outside of that second and third. And
Do you
I
know
think
what? Do you know what? If York had gone up, they would never have published that letter, would they?
no.
Not in a
talking about
million
York,
years.
talking about York, Adam Hinchelwood's gone back to Worthing, which I thought was strange.
Has he really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's gone back to Worthing.
Well, to be fair to him, if it's an open job, and obviously he's welcome back there with open arms.
Oh yeah, I just
Bigger
think
there anyway, but
he'd have been able to walk into a National League or whatever. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, if the worst comes to the worst and Simon Grayson is pushed, I wouldn't have minded it.
he would have been up there on the list. You'd imagine in the
Yeah,
sort of-
maybe.
I remember,
Or if
I
Luke
remember
Williams has finished that placement he's doing at Swansea Airport or Bristol Airport, I can't remember where he is, but he's at an airport somewhere in the what's the island.
I've heard when we were once linked with getting Andy Woodman from Bromley.
We were linked with him for quite a long time.
We were, weren't we? And for some reason or other, it never. And we were also linked with bringing Michael Cheek up north as well.
I think
You
if
know
we'd have
what?
brought him in, we'd have probably brought Cheek with him as well. It wouldn't
Yeah.
have surprised me.
Do you know what?
Right.
Michael Cheek is one of those strikers as well. Obviously, he's getting on a bit now, but he's been
Yes.
deserving of EFL football for so long. I
Oh,
am kind of happy for him that he's finally got there and
he's
he's doing
he's,
well.
he's a natural born finisher.
Yeah.
He might be 34 now, but he's got that poacher's instinct. Yeah. And any team at any level would love to have a Michael Cheek playing for him because the fans love him.
I'd love to have Michael Cheek playing for us if he wants to drop down. Highly
Give
doubt
him
that'll
a job at
happen.
Clark Street delivering the post.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, credit to him. I mean, Regan Linney's another one where, again, if he manages to get up this season or if the League Two team take a chance on him, he'll have earned his place there. Nick Horton's another one. I'm surprised he stayed in the division. I know he went down with Fylde last season, but I just thought when all those clubs were linked to him, I thought either he'll just stay at
It
Fylde
was
because he's
Oldham,
got
the big one, wasn't it?
Oldham. Yeah, that wouldn't have surprised me that.
You know what surprised me as well, if we're just on the topic of sort of National League people who've been around a while. I'm surprised Nathan Ashmore's dropped back down. I'm really glad because it means we don't have to play him again. Because he always turns into some world-class goalkeeper against us.
He does. And he's also, and to be fair, I do appreciate the, shall we call it, housery of players, and in particular
dark arts.
goalkeepers. But my God, he utilised the dark arts to their max against us, especially when he was with Boreham Wood.
Yeah.
Because I mean, their whole team was a pack of houses, shall we say? Honestly,
All right.
When they had like Jamal Fifield at the back.
They've definitely got a free GP, haven't they?
yeah, I said that earlier on. I thought they
I'm
did.
not convinced.
I'm sure they have.
Do you know what? I thought they did, but I have a feeling that it's been turned to grass since Arsenal women played there.
Unless they've got one of those hybrid grass pitches, which looks like a plastic pitch.
Fair. But then it's still artificial, to be fair, if it's a hybrid pitch, I think it still classes as plastic. Because it's because it's not a natural grass. I could be wrong though, to be fair. I just have a feeling that since Arsenal women started playing there, I think it might have been converted to a grass pitch, potentially. Because I don't know. Oh wait, it has to be a grass pitch because they have to play on grass in the WSL. Because Newcastle women moved to Gateshead at the start of this season, and the reason why they did that is because they have to play in grass in the WSL, and because their ambition is to play in the WSL, they couldn't stay at Kingston Park where it's artificial. Or it must be
You
grass.
want
It
to play?
has to be grass now.
You obviously just want to play with somewhere where there's no atmosphere. So
I've never been to Boreham Wood, so I can't really comment, but I can only go off what the people have said.
no, I'm talking about the Newcastle ladies. That's what I mean.
Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, the outrage at moving to Gateshead was very understandable. Kingston Park's a good setup. I say I've
Well,
been many
yeah,
times for rugby unions,
yeah.
it's a funny place,
It's
but
a cracking setup for rugby.
yeah, it's a shame for them. But yeah, so let's see what happens on Saturday. So we'll come to the end, but I'll get a scoreline off you just to round things off. Mark, you first.
1-0.
Scrappy 1-0.
Scrappy 1-0. In off the referee's backside, maybe.
That'll do. That'll absolutely do. If a fan runs onto the pitch and punches it in, it'll do me. Danny, nice 3-1 victory for Gainsborough, I'm guessing, given the 3G.
But no, what I was going to say is I was going to say 4-1 to us, but they score first.
Do you know what? That wouldn't surprise me.
That will be typical polls.
Reminds me of City or Liverpool.
I was just about to say City or Liverpool. Didn't we win that like 6-1 or something? But we conceded in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. I can fully see that happening again.
Yeah, free kick or something like that inside 3 minutes or something. And I just remember the Twitter going absolutely mental. Yeah, that was the FA Trophy as well. Like I say, anything to do with the FA Trophy, we're cursed in that competition.
Oh, shoulda.
Yeah. But
We're due a good run in it, though, aren't we? Surely.
Surely, but...
you know what? I would take a run in the FA Cup if it meant going out in the FA Trophy as soon as we go in.
I'd take another Crystal Palace away.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I say, when we went, right, I'll try that again. When I went to Palace, I was studying in Manchester at the time. So I remember Palace put on all of those free coaches and things like that.
Yeah.
Did Jack get the benefit of that? Did he hell? Because he was in Manchester at the time. So he got the train from Piccadilly to Euston or wherever I got it to. Was it Victoria? It might have been. Either way. Like I say, you see all of the Pools fans travelling down on free coaches supplied by the club. And I'm just like, I've got to pay for a train ticket. wasn't exactly cheap either. But yeah, like I say, I'd love another one just like that. To be fair, before we go, if we got to the third round, is there a particular club that you would want to go to? And I'll give you two because the obvious ones are, your Liverpools, your Man United and all that, which I get, for obvious reasons. But is there a particular ground that sort of holds a bit of sentimentality, or like you've watched it on the telly and you think, I'd love to go there with Pools or something like that,
I don't know why I'm saying this, but I wouldn't mind us going to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout, to be fair. You say obviously it's a hell of a stadium. But yeah, like there's so many, isn't there, obviously, that we're never going to play unless it's in the cup or unless, Ryan Reynolds changes his mind and wants another go around in the pyramid. But, like so many that potentially we could go to. I mean, there is the obvious ones, isn't there? Which aren't the obvious ones in terms of Liverpool, Man United, etc. But imagine if we get someone like Newcastle or Sunderland away.
Yeah.
Oh, the trains would be rammed, wouldn't they? Can you imagine how many non-alcoholic trains there'll be on that day?
All of them.
Every single one. To
be fair, can you imagine
another decent away one? Maybe Forest.
Forest isn't a bad shout. I've been to Forest with Pools before. Andy Monkhouse got sent off.
Same here. Yeah.
We lost 2-0. I think we went out in 9 men, actually. I can't remember who else got sent off. I know that Monkhouse got sent off. But yeah, Forest would be a decent one. I wouldn't mind going back there. I think, to be fair, Middlesbrough, can you imagine, Danny, what the Reds are going to be like if Middlesbrough draw Pools?
Oh, man.
I don't think they'd be able to sleep for weeks, would they?
I'm more thinking about what it would be like in the office.
Yeah, and obviously I've been for a tour of the office and all, so I know what it's like. It's red everywhere.
You know that the studio is full of Borough shirts and that.
Yeah.
So
I think it's like one blue shirt.
I tell you what, mine though would. Yeah, because of me.
Yeah.
But I think for me, there's two. One is St James's, although it's a hefty little away end. But the other one is Elland Road.
Been there.
I've been to see us
I
play
remember
Leeds as well.
talking
Yeah,
about Ellen Road.
yeah. I think
Talking
we were.
about Ellen Road, I remember it was in 2-0 there, and I was like sat in the away end, and I've got like, I'd been for a job interview earlier that morning, so, got the job interview done, dashed to the train station, because this is when I was living in Sheffield, yeah. Got the train to Leeds, and I'm there sat in the away end in like a suit and a shirt and tie. Luckily, the tie I had on were Paul's tie, like, but it was it. I was getting some right looks in the away and thinking, what the fudge is he wearing? Is he wearing a suit and a shirt and tie in this away end? Where's
Well
his
done for catching
monkey
the
wearing a
language there.
football shirt?
To be fair,
But yeah, yeah, that was shall was something else. We lost 2-0, but that day we gave an absolute damn good account of ourselves, and in some cases we could have easily won it if we'd actually just had a little bit of that luck in front of goal. I think.
to be fair, it might not have been the same one that you went to, but the one I went to, we lost 3-2 or 4-2 in the League Cup. It's like a September
Man
9th
was the
fixture.
league game. Man was
Yeah,
the league game. Andy
yeah.
Monkhouse, at times had right back on toast.
God
I
bless Andy
remember.
Monkhouse. To be fair, I'd have Monkhouse back now. He'd run them ragged in this division because he was always a
Not
bit of a.
forget Howler.
We were talking about Housery earlier. He liked a bit of rough
Oh,
and
aye.
tumble.
he
God
he
bless him.
he, he could do that as good as anyone.
Yeah, to be fair, there's two that come into mind for me. Just scrolling through just a random list of stadiums. The first one is Villa Park.
Yeah,
Fair,
great
fair
stadium.
shout, fair shout.
Because yeah, I was due to go there to report on a game a few weeks ago, but unfortunately, it was the game. It was the day after Aldershot. Unfortunately, that was the day that Matt B had passed away, so the game was called off. I was in a hotel on the M40 when his news passed through, and I thought it's never going ahead. This is, and I was gutted because that it's the sort of stadium where obviously I'm not going to travel down to go, but because I was already down there, I thought, well, I'll take a stadium off I haven't done. And then
Yeah,
unfortunately that happened and it was called off. But I'd love to see us play there. The other one as well, I know we've played them a lot in the past and obviously our most famous game involved Sheffield Wednesday, but I'd love to see us play at Hillsborough because we played them at a time where I was too young and I didn't really go I didn't go to away games that much. I'd love to see us play at Hillsborough. Plus the fact that my stepdad supports Sheffield Wednesday as well. It'd be a nice little crossover. I wouldn't mind
Well, if
Bramall Lane either, to be fair.
I Bramall Lane, I was man going to Bramall Lane, and we played Sheffield United. I think it was in the what was it uh, what is now the Papa John's or Virtu Trophy.
It's the Virtue Trophy, yeah. Just take your
Yeah.
pick. It's at about 200,000 names. It's basically
Anyway,
it's
and
the competition version of our stand, our Millhouse stand. Where it has a
well,
new
yeah,
name every 2 seasons.
yeah, we go in there and like James Poole scored the only goal of the game, and
Yes.
the away and all the way through the second half because we were absolutely rock solid in defence. We're singing to David Weir, "You're gonna get sacked in the morning. You're gonna get sacked in the morning."
Well, losing to
And
us,
I,
you
and
probably
I
would,
was
yeah.
thinking to myself, wouldn't it be poetic if that actually did happen? No, it's not going to happen. And then waking up the following morning, going going to work, and someone saying, "Hey, you've seen the news? Sheffield United sacked David Weir." I went, "Oh, really?" I goes, "I do." It was a case of, "Yeah." I goes, "Hey, Pose, what have you done? You've just got someone sacked." And just like walking out with probably one of the biggest grins I've ever had for years.
I remember that season where we were utterly dreadful, the season where we went down from League One, but we did the double over Sheffield United. And the reason why we did the double over Sheffield United was because there was one striker who was absolute garbage for the rest of the season, but scored 3 goals in 2 games against Sheffield United in Steve Howard.
Yeah,
He scored twice at Bramall Lane and he scored the winner at the Vic. He did nothing, absolutely nothing for the rest of the season, but scored 3 times against Sheffield United and we beat them both times. It was really weird. Like the one away at Sheffield United was at the turn of the year. I remember it was like New Year's Eve or something,
I think it
and
was New Year's Eve.
I
I
think it
think I
was,
went
yeah.
to it as well.
And it was literally like the top of the league or near the top of the league against the bottom of the league. It was a banker. It was a home banker for everyone, and we beat them 3-2. It was, I
Yeah,
think Richie Humphries
yeah,
scored the other goal if I remember rightly.
yeah. I'm sure I went to that one as well, Jack, because I was like living about, must have been about only 10 minutes away from Bramall Lane at the time. And I just thought to myself, something, I'm not doing out special today. I know what I'll do. I'll go down to the lane and go in the away end. Easy.
Well, fingers crossed we get those sorts of away games again at some point, whether it be in the league
Yeah,
or
we
whether
can
it
only
be,
hope.
in a cup run. I mean, the sooner we can get back to League Two, the sooner we can have League Cup games and we might get more of a chance to play these teams. But as it is, we need to be beating the likes of Gainsborough this Saturday to have any chance of getting through to the third round. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
a delayed one. It's been, I mean, we're at 5 to 11 at night now, which is, shows you how
Good
long
luck
we've
getting
been.
this out.
I say we've been chatting for quite a while. I've got a recording coming tomorrow as well for hopefully next week. I'm sure that we'll all know his story by now anyway, but you know, fingers crossed that gets released next week and nothing goes wrong there. But thank you very much, gentlemen, and hopefully we get a nice little cup run beginning this Saturday.
No problems. Thanks for having me back on, Jack.